Do you get claustrophobia?
Sometimes.
What if there was, say, a deep, oppressive fog all around you?
Oh god, is it one of those missions?
It's one of these missions. We gotta take out some IRBMs. And I really like, again, even though it's not really a plot mission, there's no plot, like, I like the concept of using the cover of fog to just, so it's not one of those having to stay under a certain altitude threshold or else they spot you and you fail. It's just like, you can go anywhere, but it's gonna be fucking hard to see.
Oh god, so this is Project Ace's experimenting with the draw distance then.
Yeah, they saw Silent Hill and they were like, oh, we can do that.
Oh no, I was gonna say, hey guys, look at this Turok game on the N64.
No, I wanted to be a bit more generous. So even though it's, like, terrible and not advisable to use ever, we're gonna take the Delphinus one again.
Ooh.
Just because I like the way the Delphinus line looks.
Yeah, you gotta love, like, these weird-ass super future planes that Newcom puts out.
Well, missed that one. Fortunately, to get the A rank, I don't have to engage any air targets or none of the, like, planes. I can just get some helicopters and ground targets for the most part.
That's good.
Yeah, because we have 7 minutes, which is pretty generous. It's probably like 6.5 in the NTSC version. But if you run out of time, then the missiles launch and you have to shoot them down. And I don't know if that hurts your rank, but I didn't really want to spend 7 minutes flying around to find out.
So, like, yeah, you didn't go through, like, just for the sake of, like, completion to do it. There's no alternate run.
No, especially because, like, if I did that for all of the missions, there's one later or a couple later where the operational window is like 10 minutes, and I had things to do that day. Alright, that's a lie, but I just didn't want to.
Hey, as a guy who has gone through, like, not by choice, like, Ace Combat 2 more times than is necessary to get various alternate footage runs, I can sympathize with just not giving a fuck about it.
Oh, right, because I guess the PS3 doesn't have, wouldn't let you save state, would it?
No, yeah.
So you had to redo the whole game multiple times.
Well, I was working off, like, 2 or 3 different save files to get, like, the first runs of it, and then all the stuff I did for the extras video was, like, on, again, 2 more completely different files.
Yeah, I have a couple of fail, like, takes, but for the most part, I just do the mission, and because I figure I can just explain what happens if you don't do it right. That missile probably missed us by, like, 7 feet.
Yeah, you got really lucky with that, and I was just seeing it on the radar, just getting closer and closer and closer, and going, you are gonna dodge eventually, right?
Yeah, I knew what I was doing. It's the one thing I remember my brother doing when he would play this. The best way he learned to dodge missiles was wait until the beeping gets really annoying, and then just pull a hard turn in any direction, or in my case, like a list lazily to the left.
Yeah, that is a general good strategy to implement.
Hey, you could see that one go by. I cut it really close with a lot of missiles. I think, like, the only times I really get hit by missiles, and it's the only time you can get hit by missiles if you're playing confidently, is if you're just flying straight at something that is also shooting missiles at you, and you're going really slowly, and you don't turn at all because you need to get a clear shot.
Yeah, that's where the majority of my hits across the various games have come from. Like, just a ground target that is capable of shooting back at you, and yeah, like, you just linger on it a little bit too long.
I was considering going after that R211, but in this plane, that is absolutely not going to happen. This is one of the things that I've noticed people like to say about Electrosphere is that it doesn't have any. It only has like 4 memorable moments, and I argue that it might just be nostalgia bias, and I'm okay with admitting that. But this is one of the ones that I really liked a lot and that stuck out to me. It's like it feels like most of the missions have some unique hook about them. I'm trying to think of what other missions of this type are in other Ace Combats, but I'm drawing a blank.
One I know for certain is like El Dorado in Ace Combat 2, just because like it's the closest to my memory, like having it done. But it's not like you're not on a time limit or anything. Like it's just fly through this area with like these like really thick canyon walls and mesas and just blow up all these missile silos. But like I said, you're not under the gun for any of it.
Yeah, I guess I just like I like the idea of having a mission of this type, but it's not restricting your flight path or altitude the way that they do a lot in the later games.
Yeah, like that's been kind of like a really interesting like I want to say factor, but at times it's more non-factor, is the fact that like they don't really implement weather all that much in Ace Combat games to a degree.
Yeah, like when you talk about clouds, a lot of the time it just ends up being like just fog like this, which is why it'll be cool to see how that works out with 7 if they go really heavy in on it.
Yeah, because there is a really cool bit in 04, one of the missions, where it takes place during like a really sort of like crappy rainy thunderstorm, where like you're basically flying top cover for like the D-Day landing essentially.
Yeah.
And yet if you actually go up above the cloud cover, like if you crack like I think 9,000 feet or something, like the sky above is just a bright blue clear sunny day like it is in real life if you go high enough above any cloud cover.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing that like it's kind of annoying to do from a development standpoint, and it's why they don't do it too often. It's much easier to just have a solid skybox and maybe mess with some draw distance. So in that last mission, it was actually really tense because I was trying to keep track throughout the whole thing of how many targets I had taken out, because you have to take like 30 down or something like that to get the A rank. This one's way easier. You just have to, I think, destroy everything in the mission. So now we have the F-15, which is a nice mid-game plane in this one. And it's
not just the F-15, the F-15 SMTD.
And because I feel like being a total idiot, like a total idiot, I took not only the cannon, which is our the slowest normal gun that we can get, but also the multiple independently targetable re-entry vehicle for the first, last, and only time.
Oh boy.
There's a reason I only take it once. The F-15 is like, it controls about as well as it probably would in most other Ace Combats. It's just that we get better planes than it, is why it's only mid-game. I also like how much I use the gun throughout the whole game, because I know it probably antagonizes Loon a little bit each time. But I'm going to prove it. You can kill things with the gun. It's doable. So the mission part here is really easy, because they're just falling slowly. It's like that supply crate drop in Ace Combat 2.
Oh, yeah.
But you actually can lock onto them, so you don't even have to worry about shooting them with a gun.
Nice.
But yeah, only 2 shots to get it, to take it out with the cannon.
I was gonna say, like, again, I will speak sort of highly of Electrosphere's physics engine, because I like how the bullets actually, like, arc downwards eventually.
Yeah, it's good to praise that when you're not the one playing the game. But then when you have to account for that arc, it can become...
Oh yeah,
Okay,
I hear
see,
ya.
now I'm starting to get... Now I'm getting annoyed as I'm playing this about, like, okay, just hit with the missiles, come on. It's right there. And I feel like because I'm shooting when I'm, like, turned, when I'm rolled over, it's, like, messing with the targeting on the Merv. Because it seems like I had 2 really straight shots and both of them missed on that last target. Now we're at, let's see, 2 minutes, and we've got some escorts coming in that we have to destroy. We also have to destroy every other plane to get the A rank, if I recall correctly. So I have a really slow gun in a game where the gun is not hit scan, and a missile that you need a really good lead up to get a solid hit on. Both of these going into a dogfight. How long do you think it's going to take me?
Well, let's see. There's 13 minutes left in the video.
And also considering like the main way I like to play, or the way I like to fight in the air is by jousting. It really works out well for me.
Also, I love the little guest appearance here by the fictional F-22 bomber variants. Like, it
So
looks
6
like...
minutes later.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was an obvious wipe.
I managed to get... I don't think I ever actually figured out how to use the Merv effectively. I just kept doing it until it started working out. Unfortunately, I had the missile count to afford to do that. And here's the last one. It's like you get solid hits, but you don't get enough. And it messes me up.
Yeah, that's really weird for an Ace Combat game.
And I'm assuming it's just because each hit from the Merv is weaker than an actual missile hit, so the idea is to have all 4 of them converge at once, and that is as strong as, like, a strong missile hit would be. It even took so long that apparently the mission accomplished music doesn't want to play for a few seconds.
Oh, wow.
There it goes. Yeah. The game itself was disappointed in me.
Yeah, they had to wake the band up.
And at least we helped, who was it? I think this is Newcom. We helped them launch their shuttle.
Hooray.
After spending like the first half of the game viciously destroying all of their military like efforts.
Well, the plot in like North American Electrosphere is sort of like the points in Whose Line Is It Anyway? It just doesn't matter.
Hey, we got the Seika Falcon, or Saka Falcon. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Ooh.
It's like the only plane in the game that is solely ground focused. So we're pretty much never going to use it. Because there is only one mission in the game that is solely ground focused.
I was gonna say that. Yeah, that's a good policy.
Okay, so this is a similar mission as the last one. The shuttle, we have to protect it, and it's mainly just some dogfighting. What we're going to do is we're going to take the exact same plane. Oh yeah, the Seika Falcon, normally, like when you unlock a new plane, it's the next one in the list. The Seika Falcon is the only one where it's the previous plane. It's like the game itself also doesn't want you to pick it. It wants to hide it back in all those old planes that you're not going to touch. Because look at those stats.
Well, yeah, every game that the F-16 XL appears in, it's basically like, why would you even take this thing?
Alright, exact same plane, but with the Vulcan and short-range missile.
Okay, yeah.
Look at that. Look at that missile count. I believe this is the first instance of taking off in the game. You reach 400 and you can take off. You can also just go as long as you want.
Also, that texture tearing.
Shh. Strong start.
Yep, just whiff everything. It's like me playing the opening to Farbonti. Like, the game sends like 3 planes directly at you, and for whatever reason, like, you just cannot score a hit on any of them, so I just wind up on my, like, 5th time playing through the damn mission, just blowing past all of them.
I cannot wait. Like, aside from that opening, though, that first pass at the F-22s, though, this is going so much better. Like, they cannot get away.
And, like, these are F-22s, too. Like, normally, like, they're, like, the best plane you can get in an Ace Combat game, but here they're, like, what, mid-game level?
Yeah, Mobius 1 doesn't have shit on this game. It's like, oh, he's like a god in the Ace Combat universe. I have a weapon that would take him down if he ever came into this game.
Well, it's a good thing Electrosphere doesn't count, then.
Wow.
Yep, we're going there.
Ah, so close.
I am liking the fact that they did implement the target tracking view in Electrosphere, though.
Yeah, it would be good if I was, like, capable of using it without completely disorienting myself and turning the wrong way. Which is why I don't. I used it there, and I mainly use it just to check how the other plane is in relation to me. So for that one, I saw that it was. I just needed to check if I was actually capable of catching up, but the other plane was also turning at the exact same time, so I figured I'd go after the other F-22.
I got really good at using it over the course of like 5 and 0 and 6, but
Yeah.
just like in its really early stages in like 3 and 4 especially, it's really, really janky.
Yeah, it also doesn't help just with how the how plane controls work. It's like it's a lot more stiff than the later games.
Yeah, like
notice that we did that in like a quarter of the time of the last mission.
Also, I do really like the fact that they give you a sort of a landing path to follow.
I like how they always start you off at an angle to it.
Of course, they can't make it easy for you.
And actually, I found this out looking through some failed landings later on in the game. They randomize both the side and the severity of the angle you're at.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure as long as you touch down on the landing strip, then it counts as a nice landing. Yeah, look at that. Also, that was a really short mission in general, but 2.5 minutes. That's what happens when you take a good weapon on a pretty okay plane. So now that we've helped a shuttle take off and land, what do you think's next for us?
Oh my god, we're going to space.
We're going to fucking space!
Yeah, this was the mission that Lunatech showed me when he was trying to sell Electrosphere to me as a concept.
That's what I'd use.
It's like, you go to fucking space, man, it's amazing. Also,
and it's like, it's actually a really bare bones mission, but it's still so cool, and shows how like relatively advanced the physics system they were using was.
I was gonna say, this is just like Ace Combat 3 whipping out its physics system and shoving it right in your face. Because, like, there is actual drifting in this one.
Yeah. Neutron beam or plasma beam. Again, I'm kind of an idiot, so I'm not going to fly this thing in the most optimal manner. That's probably Loon's LP that does that. I just, like, fly at targets and then figure it out once I get there. Bang, look at that. So you can actually stop perfectly still in space here, which makes sense, but I hadn't ever tried it because you only have 3 minutes, and we only actually have 2.5 minutes if I want to get the A rank. So I never did it, but I tried it out the other day, and yeah, you can just stop straight still, turn around.
Awesome.
It's like, you can just play around with the movement in here. The tricky thing is if you aren't coming directly at the satellite, then it becomes more of an effort to correct yourself, because it's not like you can just turn in that direction and you'll start moving there. You kind of have to turn in a perpendicular direction to just push yourself in that direction. I like how we have apparently like 12 trillion stars in space.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe those are just supposed to be like insignificant rocks or something.
Probably, yeah, because, like, a lot of them are sort of doing, like, the Star Trek space dust effect, where it's just flying past you in, like, streaks.
Space dust. That's what I was thinking of.
Like, again, I bet if they did, like, a remake of Electrosphere, like, they'd probably have, like, Ulysses fragments still in orbit that you have to, like, contend with for this mission, or if they even do this one, like...
God, that would be so cool. You also notice, like, because of how the way we're moving, it makes it seem like the plasma beam has way better, or maybe it was neutron beam, it has way better tracking. And they do have pretty decent tracking compared to most missiles. But yeah, it's so strange. The satellites don't move at all, so it's like they're ground targets that you can fly all around.
Really?
And look at this, I'm actually way too high up by a few thousand feet, so it's like, I need to just kind of hope that I strafe past it, and I did.
Oh, bam.
Oh, look at the curvature of the Earth there. This game is so cool! Even had the light, like the light was working properly from the sun.
Yeah, it's like really weird that, okay, now we have to do the atmospheric re-entry, but yeah, no, it's kind of weird that this is like the only one of these missions that's in the game.
Yeah, it's a taste, and you're like, oh man, if they wanted to make something more than just flying planes on Earth, they could do some ridiculous stuff. And it's been how many? Almost 20 years since this game. I'm imagining there was like some really good voice acting going over on this cutscene. Look at that curve.
Oh god, yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's like the optimal way to attack the satellites, because they tell you to go in like a zigzag pattern, but I'm pretty sure that just wastes time because you have to completely change your direction. Anyway, I think we can maybe take a break after going to space.